Now, it's all about a new year and new trends on today's Afternoon Express Masterclass. With me, Balisa Tembe, celebrity chef and regular guest, Tjaart Raven is back in the kitchen to whip up some 2020 food trends, including a berry daiquiri mocktail, a batch of potato milk, a chicken Vienna toad in the hole, a fresh mango and herb salad with hibiscus dressing, and a mushroom and leek tart. It all sounds so delicious. And if you would like to try any of today's recipes, head over to afternoonexpress.co.za. Now, in the past 2 years, our lives have changed completely due to the worldwide pandemic. But it also created opportunities to recreate with your kitchen and rather reconnect too. But many trends have begun with mastering sourdough, those mini pancake cereals, and almost a shortage of feta to satisfy that viral TikTok pasta recipe. Now, why am I telling you all of this? Well, because food trends are a yearly thing. And this year, Chef Tjaart is breaking down the top 5 food trends for 2022. Now, Chef Tjaart, there's a lot of craziness we've been seeing online, and you're about to break it down for us.
Oh, absolutely. There is so much going on, but I think it's because our lives have changed so much with the pandemic and how we adapt. I mean, it's got so many people into the kitchen. I mean, we never, last year, or the year before that, actually, thinking about it, we never heard of a sourdough starter and all that sort of nonsense. And now, look, we're now taking things and we're elevating things there. But I think we're also sort of really going back to basics. We start to understand of where things are coming from, the process of food. We've been growing things in our own gardens at home, and we're creative. And even if you're on a little sort of window box, you've got a few herbs or things like that, and you'd be amazed at what you can do. And of course, with all that, and I'm going to kick off with the first, which is right in front of me, are your scraps.
Yep.
I mean, are you girls pretty good at sort of splitting things up at home?
I won't say good, but I'll say I'm learning. I'm trying to be as eco-friendly as possible these days. I think that's one of the trends that I'm absolutely loving.
Yeah.
I'm really, really, really good at separating my trash, but I haven't graduated fully. I'm just as far as my recycled one side, and then like the things that go rotten, and then but I do kind of put some plastics that can't be recycled in there.
Yeah. Well, we are, I think, as a whole, pretty bad. Cape Town out there, we are actually one of the worst, believe it or not. We actually have one of the worst in terms of recycling here, and unfortunately it comes down to a bit of a cost. But anyway, that's another whole sort of topic of conversation. But here, taking your waste, utilising that, and on top of that, one thing we've been learning about is we're becoming very vegetable curious, is the sort of the word. And this obviously creates another whole, trend, not just sort of recycling and becoming eco-friendly about that, is eating more vegetables. I know we love a good steak, we love a bit of chicken or whatever it might be, we all do. But I think we are starting to see a big trend, vegetables we can really make taste amazing. Yeah. So you can cook something, and then you can start to put another trend which is coming in, sauces, condiments going on.
Yes, Chef Tjaart, to me. Now listen, I've got a little bit of a love-hate relationship with this trend, because not Lizzo, one of my favorite musicians, putting mustard on everything. I've seen her put mustard on watermelon. I've seen her put them in little chocolate biscuits. Galore. I mean, it will not stop. So is there a limit to this trend?
There is a limit per se, but I think the biggest thing is that people are starting to make their own. There is store-bought and so forth, but people are starting to get into the thick of things instead of seeing that, yes, there's stuff that I can buy, but how can I make this myself? So many people have started making mayo, I believe, from scratch. I've seen so many trends online where people make their own types of mayos, aiolis, and even sweet chili sauces. So that's basically the direction that a lot of people are going in.
Yeah, and I think where it actually really is coming from, so restaurants for years, and especially when you start looking at a Japanese oriental kitchen, they do combinations of different sauces together. Yeah. So, you take it, everyone can be associated here with going to a sushi bar. And, you've got some lovely sauces, you've got lovely teriyaki that goes with it, and sometimes you might add something else to it. So there's a combination of sauces that get put together.
Gotcha.
And I think that's where this is going to start to play. And people are going to start getting, there. I mean, let's face it, we go in the kitchen, we start, let's make a marinade. We know we put a bit of this and a bit of that and a bit of this, and we go in there. But I think now we're going to try and finesse that and try and be consistent with the blend. Fine-tune it. Not just sort of, throw a bit of whatever you want in it.
And actually, Chef Tjaart, this is exactly what we're going to be experimenting with in our own kitchen a little bit later on with that hibiscus dressing.
Oh, absolutely. We are going to get into dressings a bit later on. And then, right on the other side there, just to slip that in there, potato milk, is the new milk of the world. What are you thinking about it?
You know what? The one thing I am loving with these trends specifically, the one thing that connects them is how we're trying to make our world a better place just with our food. Something as simple as taking our scraps and reusing using those, taking them and, you know, preserving and making stuff like condiments from home, taking stuff like potato and making that a trend where you can make your own milk.
Yeah.
Oat milk was a trend, almond milk was a trend, and now potatoes have been turned into a milk. I think that on its own, I'd like for you to taste it and
mind-blowing.
It is mind-blowing. I mean, hey, don't forget, you know, the potato gave us vodka.
I mean,
so, you know, it's now giving us non-dairy, vegan-friendly. And actually, what's really quite interesting, I've been reading about potato milk, is actually 75% more neutral carbon to the environment than growing like things like oats for oat milk.
Wow.
So there's a whole sort of different, you know, so, you know, we're not just thinking of food of like we grow, we put some fertilizers, put some water. It's the processes beyond that. You know, when we started talking vegans, you know, like vegans want to say like I eat avocados and almonds, but actually you need bees to pollinate it. So that is a whole sort of issue. So again, people are really starting to go right back to the ground up, which is a great you know, great trend in that there. And then last one I think, you know, which is also quite interesting and a great one because we always start with, you know, being dry or sober January and stuff, and we're becoming what we call sort of sober curious is another big trend this year where we're starting to pair drinks with our food that are non-alcoholic.
So let's tick these boxes. It seems as if we've made quite a way here. We've ticked off being bio-friendly, you know, recycling, using our off-scraps as compost because the food waste is crazy being dumped in our sites. We've done condiments, we've done milk, potato milk, and then Dumi, this is something that I've been so obsessed with lately, recycled kind of shopping bags, also wooden utensils. You've got a new coffee trend your side as well.
Yes, Balisa, because the world is taking a bit of a knock in terms of the amount of coffee beans that we are in a bit of a shortage, but that's something natural in terms of the trees and so forth. But I think because of the change in that, people are moving further away from caffeine drinks. So that's why people are doing a lot more of those lattes where you've got those turmeric lattes and stuff like that.
My
A lot of
favorite.
our food is getting plant-based from the foods we eat. Like right now I've got some coconut flour here, I've got some chia seeds. We're trying so much to, you know, to move in that direction where we're trying to make the most of our foods, you know, not just take whatever we have and eat, but trying to stretch it as far as we can and being as natural as possible.
Okay, I'm so here for it. So if you are not that much of a caffeine lover, it seems as if you just need to hop online and then there's so many alternatives that you can try. And also, Utumi has helped us with some vegan, vegetarian type options. So here for it. But we're keeping the trends going throughout Afternoon Express, so don't move a muscle. We've got our very first recipe coming up.